to get rid of your hair. Like, when we go over there, I'm not going.
I always debate whether at that point I want to switch over into real clothes or to keep the rotation of joggers and t-shirts going. Because, you know, you're like in the office at that point, you know?
You are.
Sorry?
I am jealous.
I just sweat so much. I feel I would ruin my whole, like, I just sweat too much. It's gross to share.
First of all, you know, our thoughts and prayers go to the Scully family. You know, Vince Scully was a legend in the LA sports arena. I've heard so many great things about him just from people that have been here for a lot longer than me. Even hearing Al Michaels talk about him, but what a legend, you know, what a great man, what a legacy that he left, and so wanted to be able to start with that. The other thing is, I thought it was a great day today. I thought our guys got a lot of really good work in. Typically coming after a day off, the last time we had it, we were a little bit more sluggish, lackadaisical. That wasn't the case today. You guys noticed Aaron, we gave him a day off. We're going to continue to be smart with him, just with the experience that he's accumulated. He's feeling good, you know, but we want to be, you know, smart with him, with his workload, just, you know, going into year 9. And you always got to be able to pull him back. He's always going to want to go, go, go. And so I think it is good for us to be able to figure out, you know, kind of a rhythm for him, whether it's a, you know, off-on type of deal, but nothing to be concerned about with him. And then this was part of the plan with Matthew. You'll see over the next couple days. Tomorrow will be similar to what you guys saw last week. He'll really be off the following day and that deloaded day, and then he'll do a little bit of stuff in terms of individual periods. But we're really taking it a week at a time, you know, and really it's kind of a couple weeks. So don't expect him to do anything in these team settings for this block or the next 3 days next week. Nothing has changed, consistent with what I had told you guys last week, but this is part of the plan that we feel like is in his best interest, and so it's a great opportunity for John Wofford and Bryce to be able to get a lot more reps than they would otherwise, and you know Matthew's going to stay engaged, and that's the plan that we think is best right now.
Sean, just to clarify too, because he's played through so much, and
yep.
we maybe don't know because he would never say anything.
Sure.
You guys qualifying it 2 days ago as he had some pain. Just wanted to clarify, is that considered a setback or is he on pace with?
No, it's consistent with what's been going on. It's just more of when you really look at the totality of it, Jordan. You know, wanted to try to have him operate in as little as pain as possible. I think any time that you've played as long and are as tough as he is, I don't know if you're ever truly pain-free, but the goal would be for September 8th and really looking towards 17 games and then hopefully some games after that if we earn that opportunity. That's kind of the perspective and the big picture approach that we want to be able to take. I don't know that I would feel as comfortable taking that approach if it wasn't for the experience that he's accumulated and knowing how intentional he is about staying up to speed with his mental and his physical work that he can do in the absence of some of the stuff in the team settings.
Still, how concerned are you that, I mean, he didn't throw in the offseason, he looked pretty good here in the outset of training camp, but now he's having pain.
Yep.
And if you're going to kind of walk him through to get him to the opener, how concerned are you that once the season starts, he's not going to have that same issue?
You know, you could. You know, but I think that's one of those things, Gary, that we talk about where, hey, all we can do is what we can control. We feel like this is kind of the best approach to be able to take. And is there a possibility that that conversation occurs? Sure. But based on the medical experts and, you know, the plan and talking with Matthew, this is what we think is best. And I am optimistic that it'll give us the best chance for him to feel as good as possible. Would you say, hey, you'd love him to have no issues and be out here playing, and getting all these reps? Of course. But this is the thing that we think is best. And this is one of those deals where you kind of take your own advice where, hey, let's just be right here in the moment, take it a day at a time. And I thought we got better as a team today. And he is, we're getting some encouraging things. I think you want to be careful to say, okay, well, it's just been a couple days. But I think for us, being able to really give it a week, 2 weeks, is where you give it enough time to really see, okay, is this new plan that we've implemented getting the results, that we're hunting up? And I think everybody feels good about that, and that's the plan that we're going to go with for the next couple weeks.
Is there any scenario where he wouldn't do really any team stuff until you got to game prep for the Bills?
I don't think so. What we've really said right now is we'll really take it over these next couple weeks, really until we leave here, because we've got this 4-day block and then another 3 days before we end up going back to Cal Lewis. So we've kind of taken the approach that we'll reevaluate once we get through there prior to that first preseason game and then see where we're at there. And I'll have updates for you guys accordingly.
Such a competitor, how are you just taking the slower approach and kind of present?
For him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he wants to be out there and do everything, but that's where you got to say, all right, well, let's really take a step back. What do we think is the best way to follow our own advice, is be as healthy as we can and ready to go for September 8th? And that was, really what I thought would be best. As a competitor, he's always going to want to continue to be out here, be with his teammates, but he is so intentional with his approach that you feel good about that, and that's kind of the situation that we're in, and so we'll deal with it the best we can.
Coach McVay, with the reps that John is getting, how much does that go a long way as far as his confidence?
I think so. I think he could take a lot of confidence from learning from some things the other day, some good and some things we got to learn from, and then overall just the feel of it today. I thought there were some great ways that he was really playing with the timing and rhythm. Thought he was hitting spots, recognizing coverage, and getting a lot of different guys involved. So I thought today was a really good step in the right direction for John.
How did Van surgery go?
It went really well. It was really encouraging. Talking to Dr. Elatrosh, even the previous thing that he had done looks really good, and so very optimistic that things went according to plan, and we'll take this a little bit at a time.
No time? Is there?
I would say it's hard to put a timetable. I think there's a possibility, but that'll be something that I'll have a better feel for as he really starts getting into the rehab. But in terms of what we know about how yesterday went, really encouraging things, and I think I know Van's in great spirits seeing him today, and he's going to attack the rehab the right way.
Coach, couple more guys. When you talk about just having guys that are in rehab, obviously preparing guys like Jalen Ramsey, obviously he can't be out there, but he's still working out with his team. But how much of an advantage is it to have him from a cerebral standpoint to be able to go along with Raheem and be able to coach the other guys up and be able to see things that other guys may not be able to see?
I think it's huge, Nick. I think being able to sometimes see it from a different lens gives you a perspective that can help you if you take it, the intentional approach the right way. And whether that's Jalen or Matthew in some instances, even some of the days where we'll give AD kind of a veteran rest type of day. So if our guys can say, hey, all right, here's the approach. Is there anything like truly getting out there and competing? No, there's not. But at least what you feel good about is these are the guys that have accumulated experience, know how to apply some of the mental reps, the above the neck reps the right way, and then we'll try to get them acclimated physically as quickly as possible.
Hey, Sean, going back to Claudia, have you ever met him in person?
I haven't, Claudia. I never got a chance to meet him, but I've heard so many amazing things about him. And, it's time for Dodger baseball, all that stuff. I mean, what a legend. And people speak so glowingly about him. I think he left an amazing legacy.
Sean, when John has maybe a little bit of a shakier day and his rep volume is up this high and he comes out and kind of does what he does today, what is he like when he internalizes it after maybe the less good day? How is he when he studies?
He's a mentally tough guy. He's ultra conscientious, Jordan. He really works so hard at it, and this guy loves football, and he's a fiery competitor. You guys have seen when he's played, he's getting up, he's getting in guys' faces, and so he's got a nice way about it. And I think the best thing that you could really ask of a quarterback is your teammates feel when you're just being yourself. However that is really illustrated based on your authentic personality. John and Matthew both have a great way about themselves, and really all of our quarterbacks. Bryce is the same, and Louise, and I think that's all you can ask is, hey, let's be yourself. Let's understand that you're innately thrust into a leadership position, but being able to hit that reset button, whether it be a good or a bad play, I think is really key and critical for the quarterbacks and really for football players in general. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
mentioned that he felt you were rushing with so much confidence and really depending on your knee and your leg and all of that. And I'm kind of wondering, does that track and how do you feel being out there?
Yeah, I feel really good. I feel like I've been feeling good for the past year and a half. So like even last year, like I feel like going into this year with the right mindset and then like also knowing what it takes, like knowing my routine now and getting that under my belt, like of knowing like how to take care of my body and things like that. Like I felt really good going into this year. I feel like everybody can kind of see it.
Terrell, what are some of the things that you worked on in the offseason?
During the off season, honestly, really just kind of staying on top of everything that I was doing in season, just carrying it over and just basically making sure that I consistently do the same things that I would do week in and week out, like IVs, massages, seeing a chiropractor, things like that, just getting treatment on a weekly basis, and then also like working out so that my body stay accustomed to those same type of movements that you'll see on the field.
What's that challenge for like a young player when you think about when you came into the league and now here you are, going into year 3? Why is it such a big challenge for young players to kind of learn how to take care of their body and those kinds of things?
Honestly, I think it's just more so like once you get to the league, like you got so much time on your hands outside of just your workspace to where it's like, what are you gonna do with it that's gonna be productive towards your craft? So like, are you gonna just go home, get on the video game, play the game, eat, and then just come to work and you just leave work at work? Or you just going to go to work and then come back home and say, okay, like I also need to stay on top of this. How was I feeling today in practice, things like that. So just kind of figuring out like what's my best balance of like balancing out the football with also still wanting to maintain like a life outside of football and things like that.
Terrell, you guys are seeing, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Terrell. Were there any kind of mental challenges with the injuries and not trying to think about it too much and just playing football and, like you said, keeping yourself busy?
Hell yeah. Like, I told him just now, like, man, I'm not trying to sit up here and just talk about my knee all day. So, like, honestly, I mean, it makes you, like, I feel like the mental things kind of just dealing with it on a daily. And then even last year, I felt like I definitely overcame the whole knee obstacles and everything that people talk about. And then it's like, I know I went through a stretch of just not being out there, just still being healthy, but not being out there to the point where it's like people would just assume, oh, it must be his knee, things like that. So like certain things like that, mentally, like it would bother me, but I feel like I've gotten so much to a better headspace to the point where I don't let like external factors control how I feel. Like I know who I am, I know how my body feels. So like if you out here, I'm pretty sure everybody will tell you like, damn, like Terrell looks like Terrell. He looks like the guy that we want out here. So like I try not to think about the whole, oh, how's your knee feel and things like that. Because I mean, I know at the end of the day, like a lot of people from the outside looking in, that's what they think about. As soon as they see me, they hear about the knee, they think, oh, okay, knee issues, health issues, things like that. So I feel like once I got over the hump of like not trying to please everybody else and more so just like, okay, each day I know what I have to deal with my body. I know how to take care of it. So like going about it each and every day of knowing like, okay, nobody else gonna take care of my body but me and the people that I surround myself with the Rams organization or like outside of here. So those are the only people that I kind of let factor into my mental as far as like when it comes to the whole how's my body feeling, things like that.
The Daily People, we did see you putting together good practices last year, and you were there participating in all of that every day. So I guess I'm kind of wondering how the season went for you in terms of being a healthy scratch at times, especially after Vaughn comes in.
Mm-hmm. It was frustrating. I feel like I learned a lot from that whole situation. It definitely, I feel like that's another reason why I feel like I have that kind of chip on my shoulder every day of just like fiending the, you know what I'm saying? Obviously with me, my biggest goal lately has just been I want to play in the Super Bowl. So like that kind of bothered me a lot. But like mentally, it took me a while to like kind of like get over it and say like, okay, what can you learn from that? What can you gain from the experience of not only just learning from a player like Vaughn, but also learning just the business and how things go about throughout a season where, you know what I'm saying, sometimes you may just have to be that odd man out depending on situations and things like that. But like it definitely felt weird just because like I've never been out of a game other than health.
Yeah.
So it just felt like now that I'm healthy, why the hell am I not playing? So it was just like once I got over that hump of just like, okay, you know what I'm saying, you can put all the work in that you want to. It's not always going to go your way, but you can always gain something from those situations, learn something from those situations, and try to add value to your team in different ways.
And it seems like Leonard and Justin are
couple
really
more.
proud of how you internalize that and are using it to move yourself forward. What's it like kind of being mentored by those guys in a way?
I think we learn a lot from each other. I think we always kind of like bounce off knowledge from each other. Like I may learn something from Flo where he like teach me something where it's like, and Flo's a very like humble, kind of quiet guy, but like he'll say subtle things where it's like, okay, like you're right, like maybe I should think like look at certain things like that, like give me a different type of perspective. And Justin too, like just as far as just like talking about how to go about even just playing in different organizations. Like Justin played with the Broncos, so like he knows certain things where it's like you may not like this type of situation you're in, but you got to find a way to like get value out of it.
How much of a motivating factor then is the last year and a half for you in terms of what you want to accomplish personally this upcoming season?
Extremely. I feel like every time that I've been out on the field, I've, you know what I'm saying, shown people that I can play in this league at a high level, things like that. So just me having to sit out and things like that, like it made me have a certain level of hunger to the point where it's like I want to go out and show people that like I'm one of the most elite players at my position. And I feel like a lot of times people have overlooked me off the strength of just my health and things like that. But I feel like me and the people that watch me closely, like if you watch me every time that I step on the field, you can tell that I have an impact when I'm on the field, or you feel my presence in some way. So I feel like I have a huge just chip on my shoulder, but it's not really to prove myself to anybody else other than me, just to prove myself right. Like, okay, like you say all this about yourself, if this how you feel, like show it every day, show it, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're around people like Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey, like you know when you see them on the field, you feel their presence. So I want to put myself over that pedestal where it's like, okay, now that I'm healthy, I can show you that every day, and there won't be no doubt after that.
What have you been able
Last
to
one,
learn
last
from
one.
someone like Bobby Wagner?
Bobby, man, honestly, I talk to Bobby a lot just because the way he takes care of his body and like things like that, like I've seen over just his career. Because I mean, I grew up watching him, so like I used to tease him when I first got here to the point where he's like, "But chill out with that." Like I used to say like LOB, and he would be like, "Man, chill out. Like that's old. So, but just being around him and just seeing how he conducts himself, like you can just see he has a calm demeanor. He's not no super like extrovert, loud guy, but at the same time, like he knows how to connect with all his guys to the point where they feel comfortable communicating with him and things like that, to the point where when you're out there with him and you just watch him on film, you could just see how he plays is so smooth and, you know what I'm saying, effortless, to the point where it's like football just seems easy, and then to the point where it just you can learn from him from a distance just as much as you can just speaking with him and talking knowledge, whether it be football, health, anything.
All set.
Thanks,
No problem.